Welcome back to the Fee King Show. I'm your hostess with the mostest, Fee King, your local fitness go-to girl. The show is all about who are you, what do you do, what's your why, how in the world are you keeping this thing all together, i.e., what is your self-care modality. It goes down a little something like this. Who am I? I am a woman. I am a sister. I'm a cousin to my favorite cousin, Rosetta Bonner. I am an auntie, a pet parent. I'm a daughter. I'm a best friend to several amazing women. I'm a fiance to an extraordinary man named Sekou Wrights. What do? I help women over the age of 40 specifically, yet not exclusively, get physically and fiscally fit. Why? Because I am here for the community. Because I love myself so much today that it only makes sense to love my sisters exactly where they are. What? How am I keeping this thing all together? Woo! It all depends on what day and time of the day. It could appear that I have it all together. It could appear that we all have it all together, right? Because social media. So did I just say social media? That's a whole new word. Because social media would have us think that we're all happy all the time, healthy, fit, athletic, beautiful, filterless, all of the things. How I keep this thing all together requires some work ethic and belief and discipline. It is running, reading, mindfulness meditation, transcendental meditation every day, prayer and exercise. And I'm talking, your girl is convening. I'm in a state of convening with God all day long. Are y'all ready for the Fee King Show? Today we are talking about, is your present situation, your current situation, dictating your thoughts? And are those thoughts of limiting beliefs, lack? Are those thoughts of negativity? Because sometimes you're in a situation and we're unable to look beyond that situation. And that is where the work is. That is where the work is required, is for you to look beyond your current circumstance and situation. Oftentimes when I do the Fee King Show, whether it's here or in There Are Black People in Omaha, by the way, ask to join There Are Black People in Omaha. Shout out to, I'm going to do a really quick segue. Shout out to mayoral candidate elect John Ewing Jr. of Omaha, from Omaha. He is running for the mayor of Omaha, and he is going to be the very first African American to hold that position if he wins. I think that is dope. I had him on the show yesterday. He was incredible and insightful. So check out that show from yesterday on There Are Black People in Omaha, and it's a truth. I have a mug. What? I got a mug to put it. All righty. So last night, Sekou and I were watching a previously broadcast live stream conversation. I wasn't for sure what it was, but it was a conversation facilitated by one of Sekou's Morehouse brothers. Most of the people on the broadcast were actors, former actors, directors, dance teachers, choreographers, and she owns a dance studio. So artists. He's an artist, and he's now pivoted, like many of us might be in our pivot season, our transition season, transitioning from summer to fall. He has had many transition and pivot seasons. And so he's talking about being an actor, graduating from Yale, getting his first job, not knowing how to navigate the system, right? Because no one knows anything until you know something, until you're taught. One of the things that he talked about that really struck a chord in me, to the point where I felt myself being triggered. I was like, this is interesting. What about this conversation he's having with these people is triggering me? It took me going to sleep and waking up this morning, going for a run, to reveal it for myself. I said, actually, what the The icing on the cake was watching Rev Melissa's show, SIP, SIP. She talked about, and I have notes, I think she talked about, I don't have notes, she talked about living in the past and being attached to the past, whether it's past failures, past accomplishments, something you achieved, someone who hurt you, let you down. And I thought, oh my goodness. So let me tell you some of the things that he shared that triggered me, because this may resonate with you. He talked about no one at Yale teaching him about money, about navigating the business of the business. When you receive a residual check, when you get a big check, how to pay yourself first is what Sekou Wrights would say, but also how to take 10% of that and put it somewhere where not only it's going to, basically where it's going to grow, so that when you decide to pivot and go a different direction in your career, you have a nice nest egg, or you have money so that you can invest in your own projects or friends' projects or nonprofits, like whatever you want to do with the money that you've amassed. He talked about that, and I thought, oh my goodness. And Sekou was asking me certain things he was sharing. He said, Fee, when you were an actor, is that true? And I just said yes, because it was triggering me, and I was doing everything I could to just be cool, because I didn't understand at the time why I was being triggered. Now I do. I was being triggered because he took me back to those days. He took me back to the days of making residual money from commercials. I used to be the host of this psychic talk show. That's where I learned how to be a talk show host. He took me back to that time when, on those rare occasions, you get a nice lump sum of money, and no one, acting teachers, managers, agents, fellow actors, no one. And that could just be my experience and his experience. So if you're an actor, if you're watching, I would love for you to chime in. If you're a writer, producer, director, a film editor, because he had people from various spaces in the entertainment industry on this Zoom. They all agreed, like no one taught us or told us what we ought to do with our money. Then I said to Sekou, I said, I don't know though, that if someone told me, I would have listened. I said, I don't know, because I think you can hear a theme and some information 20, 30 times, and not until you're ready to receive it will you receive it. Also, it depends upon the person, where you're getting your information from, and the timing. Like everything has to line up. Bob Proctor talks about that a lot in his book, which I was watching. You Were Born Rich. I did Bob Proctor's meditation this morning. I listened to his seminar when I run and when I walk. This morning, I listened to an interview that he did 6 years ago. 6 years ago, Bob was in his 70s. He's now deceased. Rest in peace, Bob Proctor, my other mentor. He came before Arlen. In his interview, the young man asked him, at what point did you want to change? At what point are you so fed up or disappointed with where you are in life? Did you want something different, something more? Bob said, I didn't even know that I had permission to want something else. I thought this is what it was. Working a job, not being happy, going to this job, not even doing a good job. These are Bob's words. Not even doing a good job. Like I barely escaped getting fired more often than I did get fired. So the young man said, so what happened? He said, it was not until I met this man who I didn't know. I have no idea why this man, this is what Bob is saying. I have no idea why this man is even talking to me. Right? He said, when I thought about it, I thought, wow, why would someone who was happy, the man who was talking to Bob was a happy man. He was healthy. He was very wealthy. He said all of the things that I wasn't. And he asked me, why don't you want something else? And Bob said, well, like, I don't know. He didn't know that if something else was even an option. The man said, I want you to read this book. Bob said, I know how to read, but I don't read. He said he was 24 years old and had never just sat down and read a book, whether he was seeking knowledge, information, or entertainment or escapism. He said, I had never read a book. He finished only 2 weeks. I think he said 2 weeks of high school. I'm going to go back because I want to be really, I want to be correct with that. It was either 2 weeks or 2 months of high school. He said, I had, and most people, I don't know the statistics, if this is correct, and maybe during his time it was correct. Because again, Bob was in his 70s 6 years ago. He said most Americans have only a 7th grade reading equivalency. So reading was not his thing. He said the fact that this man was talking to him made him curious. So the man gave him this book. I will share the name of the book because I haven't gotten that far, but I will be watching that today. That is a part of my self-development work today. The man gave him this book. Bob Proctor pulled the book out of his pocket on this talk show. It's tattered. He said, I've read this book every day for 55 years. I get a little emotional saying that, 55 years. And then I thought, Fee King, you have read this book. And I'm reading it again with Sekou, and I'm reading it aloud for Sekou because it helps him to absorb it. This is probably my 14th time. So I have some catching up to do to catch up with Bob Proctor. Again, the question is your current situation, whatever that is your current situation allowing you to go down the rabbit hole of thoughts that are not serving you? Or is your current situation so amazing, like so amazing in every area that it is allowing you to hold thoughts of prosperity, abundance, love, joy, exceptional health, positivity, optimism? Like, I want to know, is that where you are today? Or is your current situation such that you're not happy, you're not feeling healthy, you're not feeling like you're at the top of your game? And so because you're not currently there, you might be thinking that this is where I'm going to always be. And so you allow yourself to have thoughts of negativity, thoughts of lack, thoughts of poverty, thoughts of how am I going to do this? Thoughts of I got to figure this out, which, by the way, friendly reminder, I get to remind myself of this, which is the how is not your responsibility. So you actually get to take that off your plate. Let us not focus on the how. The how is God's work. What you get to do is get or become clear on your what, get and become clear on why, and then get and become clear on who. It was just reminded to me by Rev Melissa listening to an older show that she did about wanting and transforming the desire to want into becoming who you want to become versus what you want to have. Because once you become who you want to become, then all of the things that you want are attracted to you and you are attracted to them. Now, does it just happen through osmosis? It requires work. According to Napoleon Hill, Think and Grow Rich, according to Bob Proctor, you are born rich. According to Arlen Hamilton, my mentor, who reminds us to simply be who we are so that the people who are looking for us can find us. So be who you are so that the people who are looking for you can find you. But you get to firstly discover who you are. And Rev Melissa would say, whose you are. Are you accepting that you still occasionally allow yourself to feel those feelings of lack, those feelings of negativity, those feelings of loss, those feelings of heaviness, and pivot in the clarity of your purpose. Knowing that even though I'm feeling these feelings, it's not who I am. So, for example, last night when I was listening to this brother on this previously recorded broadcast, I was thinking about the numerous times I had gone into an audition when I lived in LA, when I was going through the motions, not even believing that it was remotely possible that I could land this role. But I'm just there because on some level, I think that that's what I'm supposed to do because I said I wanted to be an actor and I have the headshots and I paid for the classes. And I've been telling people I'm an actor. Oh, and I have the business cards and the headshot and the flyers and all the things. So I remember being so overcome and overwhelmed with fear, right? Not knowing that I could feel fear at that time, not knowing that I could feel fear and be courageous in the face of fear. And I would show up, I would do the audition, and there were a few times, there were just a few times where I would audition and I was able to, in that moment, release the fear, even though, I'm thinking about my current situation, which is I didn't get the part last week before. I didn't have an issue with paying my bills back then because I had such a strong set of skills, which was personal training. I always had money, and I'm not saying that I was wealthy and that I didn't have debt, and that there were times where things were slow and the money wasn't coming in as consistently. What I am saying is I wasn't a starving artist. I was never a starving artist, starving actor. I was hungry for it because I wanted to become a full-time artist, not necessarily a full-time exclusively actor, but a full-time artist, one who's writing, performing, doing plays, doing commercials, booking the roles. But what came up for me last night as I'm watching is I was allowing myself to live in the past and feeling like, you know what? Not only was I not well equipped financially because no one was sharing with us actors, creatives, what to do with the money when you get the money, what to do with the money so that in 5, 10, 15, 30 years, you're not broke. That's what came up for me. That's the one thing that came up for me. The other thing that came up for me was I realized that I had allowed fear to dictate my thoughts. I allowed fear to put me in a poverty mindset. And I still do. Yeah, that's the truth. I still do. And then I realized this morning on my run, I said, this is good news though, because you just made a discovery. And with that discovery means I get to do something about it. I get to do something about it. And I think that is the difference between people who continue to move forward, who continue to go for their dreams, who continue to stay on track for their goals in spite of what your current situation is showing you. And I got so much joy in that. I was like, this is a good thing. This is a good thing, Faye King. This is a good thing. And then I received this text from Sekou Writes. Let me blow that up. Can you see that, y'all? Can you see that? Oh my goodness. Oh, it goes away so fast. Oh, it goes away so fast. I will share that on social. Basically, it is a photo. It's an image. So on Instagram, thank you so much. I can't hear you. You can't hear me? Oh my gosh. Let me know if you can still hear me or not. Please let me know because I don't know why you can't hear me, but I'll do my best. I think it's the volume. I'll do my best to turn it up. And I will also share clips. What I was saying is, Sekou Writes sent me an image of a woman standing before a huge wall of Zoom blocks. We'll call them Zoom rooms, Zoom blocks, or maybe it's StreamYard. It's some digital platform where people are engaged in what you're sharing, saying, doing, being, having, and you're engaged in who they are, which for me, that just resonates with community. And when he sent that to me, what did he say? It's in my, I can hear you now. I had to log out. Oh, okay. All right, cool. Thank you for doing that. Thank you for going through all those steps just to hear. That's dope. I love it. And so I get to be reminded, and you get to be reminded that your current situation does not dictate where you're going and where you'll be. Let me say that again. Your current situation does not dictate, it does not have to dictate where you're going and where you'll be. And I get to release that trigger that I experienced from hearing this man share his experience being an actor and him pivoting and where he is now, which is in a completely different industry. What he does now, which I'm not completely clear on yet, but I do know that what he does now is help creatives, probably not exclusively, specifically because that's his yummy delicious spot, which is creatives. He helps creatives make money, residual passive income. Again, I don't know how and what he does. We'll discover that, or we'll uncover that at a later time. I'm just grateful that what I experienced yesterday, some things came up. And I've said this before and I'll say it again. Sometimes when we arrive, when we've done the work, I'll give you an example. When you've made a decision in your life that you're going to stop making excuses and you say, you know what, I'm going to do the work. I'm going to work out. I'm going to eat like I give a dang. I'm going to hydrate. I'm going to essentially commit. And you do that for 60, 90 days and you get amazing results, not just aesthetically, but how you feel on the inside. Your sleep has improved. Your clarity has improved. You're able to concentrate, your focus, like you're on your game. You are a badass at being fit and you did it, right? So you're there. And then what? Like you've arrived. And then what? What, you just stop? You go back to where you came from? No, there's somewhere else for you to go. There's a new goal. There's a new dream. And then you move forward towards that one. And I'm sharing this because sometimes those of us who have the tools, right? And here are just a few of the tools that I use. Mindfulness meditation, transcendental meditation, reading, writing, praying, exercising. And of course, listening to just a small three thought leaders who are Arlan Hamilton, author of It's About Damn Time and Your First Million. You Were Born Rich, Bob Proctor. The work that I do in my fitness business is based on Younger Next Year. And the last book is, well, there's a couple more, but the last book is The Wisdom of Menopause by Dr. Christiane Northrup. The Wisdom of Menopause by Dr. Christiane Northrup. Okay, so we're doing the work, right? We're doing the work, we're being the work, we're seeing shifts in our lives, we're feeling initially ourselves transform. And then we start to see it. But the work is endless. As long as you're alive, you get to do the work. And you get to decide if I'm going to enjoy the work. Even if the results aren't showing up as quickly as I want them to. Even if the results aren't looking and feeling like I imaged that they would. You still get to do the work. And you get to reframe the laboriousness. Is that a word? I don't know, but I know laborious is a word. I don't know if NESS is, but that's okay. But you get to enjoy it, regardless of how it shows up or how sometimes we think, it's not showing up on time, but it's always exactly when and where you need it. It's always. Are you allowing your current situation to dictate your thoughts? And if you are those thoughts of poverty, thoughts of lack, thoughts of I've run out of time, thoughts of I don't know how, thoughts of I'm too old, I'm too late. Because I sure hope I'm not the only one. I hope that I'm not the only one. Because if I am, that means I'm in this all alone. And I don't want to be in this thing all alone, which is why I am here for community. Because I know that all of us at some point have these same experiences and these same thoughts. And what I also know is that we all have the capacity to transform it. We all have that capacity to transform it. Woo! Mm. All right, so I'm going to check in with the comments because I'm sorry I got so caught up. I didn't check. So, what's up, Fatima West? Constant recreation of self. Yes, yes. And it's about damn time. I have it. Let me tell you, I love books. I love books so much. I shared with Sekou, I said, you know what? I'm going to write, I'm going to write, I'm going to write a TV show. I'm going to write a TV show titled The Do-Over because I need to do all 4 years of high school over. I need to do them over because the system failed me. I'm going to keep it real. The system failed me. And I say that because not one time did a counselor call me down to her office and ask me, so, Miss King, what would you like to be when you grow up? What do you want to do? What college are you thinking about going to? That never happened. That conversation never happened. Not only that, had it happened, I would have known that I could have gone to college and got a degree as a librarian. Did you know? And y'all, I do not want you to type in the chat. You can still go to college. It's not too late. That's not the point. That is not the point. I am not going to college to get a degree as a librarian. That is no longer my desire. However, I spent hours in libraries. And when I moved to the DMV, in 2018, the first thing I did after I got a gym membership was I got a library card in DC, in Bowie, in Crofton, Baltimore County, Baltimore City. Don't play with me. I love the library. I love books. I love education. I love learning. And I love sharing. And I'm going to write that TV show because I need a do-over. Type in the chats, a D-O space over. A D-O space over. If you need a do-over from grade school, junior high, high school, college, I am going to write my do-over. All right, so let us get up out of here. I have a couple announcements. And Fatima West is saying, I had no idea I could afford to go to college. My outlook was so hopeless and bleak. Fatima, I am curious as to when and what helped you to shift. Because something happens. Something happens to and for us. Whether it's something you overhear, you meet someone says something to you. I remember for me, it was Janetta Brown. She's an attorney in Houston, Texas. I was engaged to her nephew. Sekou, this was a long time ago. I was like 20, 21. So a long time ago. And she knew that her nephew was a piece of work. She knew he was a piece of work, and she knew that he was not worthy or ready. Can I get a WR? Can I get a WR? He was not worthy or ready. She said to me, she said, Fee, you're young, you're smart, you don't have any kids, you're not married, you have nothing to tie you down. Why are you not traveling? So this is what I thought in my mind when she said that. I didn't say it, but I thought, I don't have any money. But let me tell you something. It was as if God got hold of my tongue and said, don't say it, because you are focusing on the wrong things. And in another show, a different episode, a different time, I will share what happened after that woman implanted into my consciousness what I was capable of without even knowing that I was capable of it. It had always been a desire. I've always wanted to travel. And when she said that, something shifted. Something shifted, and I got to work. I got to work in a big way. But it started here. It started with simply believing and then seeing believing in and seeing all the places I wanted to see, all the things I wanted to experience, all the conversations I wanted to have, the art I wanted to experience. Thank you, Janetta Brown. Oh, I have not said her name in 20 something years. Oh my goodness, I'm getting emotional on the Fee King Show. All right, y'all, this is the Fee King Show. I bid you love, light, peace, prosperity, possibility, positivity, joy, abundance, and stick-to-itiveness, not just for today, not just for the rest of this week, the rest of 2024, but for your entire life condition. I will see you, God willing, Friday, 11:30 a.m. Eastern Time until 12 noon. I'm out. Peace.